Hey everyone. Thank you so much for watching any of this content. I want to have a little bit more of a serious conversation. A lot of the information and the context that we do have on this channel is about mental health. Though it's on a positive and educational aspect, it can open up probably some really difficult things. Post traumatic stress, like when it becomes a disorder, and that's really kind of what it talks about. What trying to talk about is I'm using the disordered thinking as the example to help everyone else on the other side understand and be able to kind of comprehend um, the mind and how it's designed. Because I think in times of good and bad, high intense moments are really when we probably gain the most amount of experience and memory sometimes, and those are sometimes the memories that we hold in the most. So as you're kind of going on your journey, first and foremost, it's always recommended, honestly, like seek someone who is a professional, like support. It's okay to use books, it's okay to use therapy, it is okay to do anything that is self driven. That's what this content is. This is self driven content. But you need someone who's a professional, who's going to tell you when you're off track, who's going to bring you back to your center. Um, so book an appointment with someone who is licensed. I do recommend having like someone who is also on the spiritual side, who can also kind of help you on the emotional aspect of rebuilding after the psychological stuff. And then it's really kind of talking about, figuring out the consciousness aspect, how your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors are really affecting your daily life. This can really be done by figuring out like maybe the pattern of those negative thoughts, and trying to actively replace them with like positive and constructive thoughts. That doesn't happen overnight, but neither does being a negative person, or constantly having negative fearful thoughts. Sometimes we get stuck in a pattern of thinking that just gets more and more engraved in us, kind of the Grand Canyon aspect. The water kept running and running, and now it's a massive canyon. So make sure you're really kind of working on some tips, and really kind of figure out like what are some external triggers, things that are outside that are causing you to relive some of the trauma. It is sometimes that thing that, like women who were in abusive relationships will go back to abusive relationships because that's what they know the most. Men who have seen their dad drink, could go either way, but so could a woman who's had a narcissistic mom, where they could be an amazing and selfless but secure woman, or they could be a version or even an inverse version of their mother. Like we all have internal issues or external issues, but what are those external things that keep bringing out the internal reaction is really kind of those things that you should really look at, and maybe that will help you talk with a therapist. Join a support group. The book by Russell Brand, Recovery, was huge. I know I'm not an addict. I know I've never went to that extreme, but with me, I was someone who always kind of pushed the limits but stayed within my control. So I've had a lot of addictive behaviors, but I was never an addict. Food, sex, marijuana, alcohol, were things I used in my 20s. But it's something that I was able to let go. So groups and support groups are huge. Even in AA, it's important, because I think it's always sometimes a reminder of where you could be. And then you can always try different types of stuff like yoga, hypnotherapy, acupuncture. EMDR is huge. It definitely helped a lot of people unlock some of their therapies. But dealing with post-traumatic stress and those tough moments, I know it's tough, but no, it's a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. There's a lot of unlearning. Give yourself some empathy, patience, and love yourself the way that you wished someone would have loved you and taken care of you. That's the only recommendation that I can say. Alright, with that, I'm Kusal Matthew of Kusa's Key. If you can, please subscribe. Thanks so much. Ayubowan. May you be blessed with a long life.